Hello again, Taurus, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. So before we begin your reading, I have two cards here for you. And from Le Vampire, you pulled natural, authentic, real, and organic. Now, when I look at this card, I think about how Taurus loves to enjoy what physical reality has to offer. But the problem there is that those things do not define who you are. So the blessing with natural says that when you take away the trappings of money, power, status in the world, you are left with the things of spirit. You are rich in the ways of the soul indeed. This creates a balanced, centered, strong core. So you're getting back to who you are naturally. And then, it also says here that there may have been an over-reliance on ways of identifying who you are. It's like categorizing yourself by your job, your status, your wealth, all of these things that are not truly who you are at a soul level. Then on top of that, you pulled enlightenment from chakra wisdom. Now, this card to me reminds me of the Hermit, and I see the Hermit pop up a lot in the Taurus readings that I have done. And I like it because, when you look at needing to get back to who you are naturally and then enlightenment, it speaks volumes about opening yourself up and realizing who you truly are. So the inspiration here says that at this time, your journey is more important than your destination. Remember, if you face your fear, you will grow stronger. Relief awaits. And then the key ideas here are path to enlightenment, the reluctant sage, taking time alone to connect, trusting your intuition, needing solitude and time for reflection, which absolutely, if you're trying to get back to who you are on that deep soul level, you definitely need to take that moment to really feel yourself, enjoy your own company. And again, the things that you have do not define who you are. All right, Taurus, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. Shit. The Lovers. Wow. When I think about your last reading and you guys, going a little nuts and attracting some people, I have to wonder here if maybe there wasn't a connection made. So now, the Lovers is about putting love first in your life. It's that loving union between two people. It's also about the male and the female within all of us, the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. There's that duality there. And this may suggest a need to make a decision regarding love in your life. But it's like with what you pulled in the oracle cards, if this being the signifier, if this is what you're wanting, yeah, you definitely need to take a minute to really get into who you are on that soul level, But wow, Taurus. Oh, and in the past, and now seeing the Page of Swords, to me, it's like conflicting messages regarding love. I see that Page of Swords as somebody who is just causing conflict, It could also suggest this feeling of being like naive, but brave and courageous. But, seeing the Lovers there, we shall see what unfolds here. But I feel like maybe you had some conflicting messages regarding love in your life, which would make sense with why you need that time for solitude to really think about who you are. You don't want to jump into a love situation if you're not comfortable with who you are naturally. Oh, shit. Wow. So, in the present, death. It's like you're being forced to do this now. Something has changed big time when it comes to, I think, the way that you thought about that love in your life. And now you're definitely, especially with the oracle cards, you're being forced to go through this transformation on a very deep level. But, again, with death, you rise out of this and create yourself anew. It's out with the old, in with the new. And it's like you're doing it for yourself. it's almost like you're doing it for yourself in an attempt to create that love in your life, but really needing to get back to who are you? Who are you truly? Because what you have, again, does not define you. Oh my goodness. So, speaking of conflict, and there it is. So, future conditions, this has to happen for you. It has to happen. So death, again, is like one of those cards where you don't have a choice. You can feel the way that you want to about it, but you truly need to go through this if you want to correct the issues that are going on. Because with the Five of Swords coming out, it's the bullshit card, bullshit arguments, bullshit conflict. Whatever messages are coming through from this page, if they're regarding love, you cannot get involved in it. You need to know when to step away here. Because again, it's a no-win situation. And what you're trying to create is something different. And again, you're being forced to really look at who are you? Who are you truly? And needing that time to find that enlightenment so that you can rise from those ashes. But you cannot get caught up in conflict or ego, for that matter, especially when it comes to love. Love has nothing to do with ego, but if that page is giving you those kind of messages, it makes sense that the Five is pulling out. And again, when you're going through that transformation, on top of finding that enlightenment and getting back to who you are naturally, I worry here. You have to be careful about the way that you think mentally as well, in regards to what love looks like to you. And, certainly don't let anybody influence your thoughts on what you're truly trying to do here, because these two, wow. Your best path to follow. Now, seeing the Six of Pentacles, when you look at the image, the message truly behind that card is that no matter what your status is, you need to be open to giving and receiving. And, again, it's like what you have does not define you, but there's this need to be open to give and receive love, regardless of whatever mental conflict is going on. It's no wonder why death is showing up. It's like something's got to change here. If this is what you're truly focused on, there's definitely some internal changes that need to happen. But again, you need to stay open. To me, this is about staying open, giving and receiving. Oh, and in your environment, there's fear. I feel like somebody's creating some fear here when it comes to what your focus is as far as love goes. It's like there's these fucking just bullshit conflict and conflicting messages. It's just, ugh. And seeing the Eight of Swords, if this is what you're used to hearing is this bullshit, it makes sense that mentally you're scared to move forward, and if it has to do with, this potential for love in your life, if you're afraid of it because you don't know who you are truly, then death is definitely the right way to go right now. And again, with enlightenment, the two are perfect together. But seeing that Eight of Swords in your environment, I always say the same thing with this card. Take the blindfold off. Walk your path. I would rather deal with new pain than stay stuck in the same situation over and over and over again, because it's pointless. You go nowhere and you just continue this conflict. And it's like with the Lovers being the signifier, truly that is not what you're wanting. But looking at it this way, it's like fear because of conflicting messages. Do I want it? Do I not want it? Does the other person want it or do they not want it? It's like this back and forth mental game. Oh, your hopes and your fears. Look at that shit. Shit. Oh, yeah. I have to take a drink of wine here because this is mind-blowing here. seeing the hangman in your hopes and your fears and seeing enlightenment and death, something on a very deep level for you guys knows that there is a need here to see things differently when it comes to love in your life, because there's too much fear and there's too much conflict. The hangman is about being in a limbo and needing to see things in a different perspective. And when you do that and you set that ego aside, you open up to that enlightenment. You know, I really feel like looking at all of this is that, you know, this is truly what you're wanting to experience here. But man, there's some conflict surrounding this, you know, and it may have to do with what you're doing to yourself mentally because of some conflicting messages coming through. You know, do they want me or do they not want me? What is it that they want? What is it that I want? Is what I feel like. And there's this fear here. I almost feel like it's a fear of rejection. But with the hangman being there, yeah, there is a need to seek some enlightenment regarding the situation. And again, putting the ego aside. And again, with death, you don't have a choice here. It's going to happen. And it has to happen. It needs to happen for you. If you want to realize this, you know, and again, that 6 is like, you have to stay open here to this powerful stuff going on if you're wanting to see this change. Oh, and the outcome, nostalgia. Seeing the 6 of Cups as the outcome, you know, I'm looking at it here and I'm looking at it here. This is what worries me. If you place your focus when it comes to the past on conflict, you're bringing that into the present moment. And that is what the future conditions will be and continuously will be if that is where the focus is placed. So, you know, again, with the 6 of Cups, you need to restore some emotional harmony back into your life. When you look at the past, you need to look at those loving memories. And you can't focus on that feeling of, you know, wanting something from the past to return to you, because what it was truly wasn't worthy. I mean, looking at that page and that 5, no, you know, messages of conflict. And there's that fucking 5. You guys are, you know, it's almost like, you know, instead of like rebelling, like where before it felt like you were rebelling and like, screw that, I'm going to go out, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to attract all these people. Now it's like you're taking a minute to really think about, I want some love, but how can I do that when my focus is on past conflict? And with natural and enlightenment and the hangman and death, my God, you need to go through that deep transformation and get back to who you are naturally and find that enlightenment, definitely, especially when it comes to the way that you think in regards to love in your life. And you have to stay open to the changes that are happening here. You have to place your ego aside and be careful about what you focus on when it comes to the past. Because again, if you do that, you're bringing it right back into the present moment and it will continue to manifest. You have to watch where you're placing your focus. And I think that's why these 2 are showing up. It's saying that, you know, when you're going through the death cycle here, it needs to be about, who are you? Who are you truly? Enjoying your own company. And then again, you know, finding that enlightenment and that understanding, you know, especially when it comes to the way that you think about love and what love looks like in your life. When I see that, the immediate feeling that came to me was you need to be supportive to yourself, because this is about you. This is about needing to change yourself and again, getting back to who you are. Back to what you love, back to who you are. Love is all around you. It truly is. And be supportive. But I feel like that's needing to be supportive to yourself. Because, you know, yeah, going through this, that's definitely what you need to do. And again, you know, you need to be careful about where you place your focus at when it comes to the past and reviewing your past. I mean, you know, with that 6 of Cups, it's like, You don't want to be trapped in those thoughts of conflict when you're trying to create that love in your life, because it's all around you. Okay, Taurus, so man, oh man. When you look at enlightenment and thinking about what it says, again, with this card about needing to face your fears and that your journey is more important than the destination right now, yeah, you need to face whatever fears are happening here in regards to love. Because, again, this being the signifier tells me that this is where the focus is right now. But there are problems here with the way that it's viewed. It's like there was just too much conflict involving that. But, in the present moment, it's like you're being forced to go through something really deep. On a very deep level, you are starting to change. And what worries me here is with the Six of Cups coming out, I worry about the way that, you view the past in regards to love. Because of the messenger of conflict, and then here's the bullshit card. And I worry about what you do to yourself mentally when it comes to wanting to have that loving experience in your life. And the Hangman is saying that, yeah, you need to see things differently here because what you're looking back on is not accurate. And truly, it's not what you're trying to create. But again, it's like there's this need here to really get back to who you are naturally, and needing to know who you are in order to create that loving feeling. Now, again, with the Six of Pentacles, to me, there's this feeling of needing to stay open. You need to stay open, especially when you're going through the death cycle. You don't have a choice here. This has to happen. It has to happen, and it's for your own good. I mean, if you're truly trying to get back to who you are without the ego getting involved, then yeah, you have to go through this. Because that's the only way that you are going to be open to creating this feeling of love in your life. Because again, your focus is there. Now, when it comes to love is all around you, yeah, that's obvious, right? I mean, clearly you're wanting to experience something different than what you've had before. But something needs to change within you first. Now, when it comes to being supportive, you need to be supportive to yourself when you are going through this. It's not easy for us to look at ourselves and look at our own flaws in the way that we think about things, and when it comes to new love situations, we have a tendency to bring up past junk and then we carry it into the new situation and it sabotages what you're trying to do there. So be supportive to yourself when you're going through this deep transformation and getting back to who you are. And remember, what you have does not define you. Taurus loves to enjoy physical reality, absolutely, but it does not define who you are. And then back to what you love, back to yourself, and back to loving yourself, I feel is more important here than anything else. And truly, that's what you need to do before you start to really create and experience this love in your life.